welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the third, I think, episode of More Floor. We're not going to talk about the name because we got a special guest today. We got my main man, Royal A. Shepherd, in the building. Royal, welcome to the first episode. How are we doing?
Appreciate it. I'm feeling well, bro. How are you guys doing?
Fantastic.
Doing good, man.
Marco?
Good. Marco's feeling nothing.
I'm glad we have Royal on board.
As always, everyone loves having Royal on, man. It's a nice little surprise. So we got a lot to talk about. We got some play-in stuff. We got some Heat stuff. We got some questions I want to get to. We want to add a little prize pick segment in here because we do have sponsored. So we'll get to that in a little bit. But we'll start with the Miami Heat. So coming off of what's been a really good stretch, they won 6 straight, lost to the Orlando Magic. And now they are locked into playing one of these 3 teams in the first round of the playoffs. You're either going to have the Cavaliers, the Hawks, or the Hornets. So I want to jump straight into this. Toine, against the Cavs, what's the pros and cons for that matchup for the Heat?
Well, the pros for the Heat is it's a whole lot of Darius Garland and a whole lot of nothing else offensively, at least for them. He's kind of just the engine, and if he can't get going, a lot of their offense really just stops. So you got an advantage there. Obviously, the length. You playing 3 bigs. Obviously, I think Jared Allen will be in that series. So you got a whole lot of length that you're dealing with that can bother Bam, that can bother Jimmy. But really, they're energetic. They play good when they have pace and they're getting out in transition. They can be tough to stop. But overall, it's food for Miami. There's nothing too difficult with this matchup. Larry Markin, if he's on the court, you can do whatever you want on him. And Evan Mobley, while he's good and he's long and he can do things defensively, Royal said yesterday that he was boshy, but he's still got some quirks to him. He's still a rookie. He still does rookie things. So overall, I think they can present a little bit of challenge, but it's Heat and 5, like. No question.
Yeah, I think the difference between this one and maybe some of the other first-round series is I feel pretty confident in saying the Cavs will get 1 game in that series. I don't feel confident in giving them anything more than that because they have, like, Jimmy and Bam, they do struggle with those taller, like, 2 big lineups when they have athleticism specifically. So Mobley and Allen, they have that recipe, but, like, Royal, are you scared of the Cavs matchup at all?
Fuck no. The Heat are gonna blow that shit out. Fuck is you talking about?
There we go.
Look, for one, that team is young. They just lost a play-in game. So, defensively would be their advantage. If Jared Allen is back fully healthy or whatever, that would be one of the things that they can hang their hat on. But without him, like you've seen, like there are cracks in that defense too. Like Toine said, it's Garland the bus on offense. And the Heat's defense is built to stop like single player teams. So if you want to have a person like a team that's focused around a central figure, well, we can take him out, and the rest of you are going to have to be there. So I don't think that's possible with the roster that they have on. But yeah, Heat and fucking 4. I'm not even giving them a game, to be real with you.
I think I'll give them 1 game. The Heat are due for like 1 bad shooting game in that first round.
We can shoot bad and we'll still win.
This is probably true, but no love for the Kevin Love ISOs. That's actually very surprising. For the sentimental 6th man of the year, that's crazy. So while Marco, I think, is getting back from Wi-Fi issues, we'll toss to you here, Royal. The Hawks. This is probably what I would say is the most likely matchup. What's your number prediction on the series, and what are the pros and cons for the Heat?
Heat and 4. Listen, there is no series. I mean, I'll just stick to the topic, but either way, the pros for the Heat are that the Hawks play absolutely no goddamn defense whatsoever. Like, you can take your pick of who you want to go out there and attack. I guess the cons would be Trae Young. Like, he can catch lightning in a bottle, and he can, kind of take over series at times. We saw him do it last year. So, you know what I mean? They have that experience. They had that additional layer of learning from last year, and that may, give them more confidence. But once we start playing offense and they realize that they are helpless, then the Heat are going to win every game, probably by double digits. And they'll go back to Atlanta and go to Magic City. The end. Like, Heat 4.
Toine, any differing thoughts here? I know a lot of people are trying to gas up the Hawks on Twitter and
It's not
the social
happening.
media sphere, but no fear from the Hawks.
I don't understand it. I don't know what the people see. Maybe they saw something from the Atlanta Hawks that I didn't, but there's nothing there to fear. Trae Young in the playoffs against the Miami Heat is going to be in jail. Good luck with getting Kevin Huerter and Bogdanovich to get you some buckets. But we're good. We have nothing to worry about. Clint Capella might be their leading scorer with 15, so I'm okay.
Actually, Clint Capella, man, it pisses me off watching him play because it's like the same thing that it was when he was in Houston, where it's just like the guard does absolutely everything,
All
and he's
the work.
just standing there, and people are like, "Oh, Clint Capella, top 10 center." Watch the game, like, come on now. That's I don't want to go all the way there, but yeah, no, I'm very confident against the Hawks. Like,
I got another thing. Another pro for the Heat is that we can literally stick somebody like Caleb Martin on Trae Young and have Bam and Jimmy roaming the entire goddamn series.
That's Mm-hmm.
Like that's what's going to happen. We're going to put anybody on Trae Young. Mm-hmm. Really, we can put Gabe on him, put Caleb on him. But I think that's going to be more of a Caleb thing. Put Caleb on him, frustrate him a lot. Let Jimmy and Bam kind of intercept every pass that he throws for the whole fucking series. Get them steals up.
Mm-hmm. What the Heat showed last year, too, was, I mean, they've done it sometimes this year, but not as much, is just throw that half-court trap or that full-court pressure on Trae Young. Just make the ball get out of his hands early on in a possession. Because Trae Young, for as good as he is on the ball, he's not a very good off-ball player. Like, he's not really smart with cutting. He doesn't relocate at all. Like, he kind of just vibes until he gets the ball again, which works for Atlanta because they need him to do everything for them. But if you're going to force people to beat you, then it's really going to be 4-on-4. Which is a win for the Heat. Like, if you're taking out their best player and he's not making an impact off the ball, that's a W. So, in my opinion, the easiest matchup of all these three is the Hornets, which is the craziest thing because their offense is great. But I feel so confident in the Heat scoring 120 points in every single game in that series. It's unreal. So, like, my pro would be the Hornets really just are not that good of a team. Is there a con to playing the Hornets?
I mean, if you don't like, it's for a team that doesn't like shooting. We've seen from the Miami Heat. You're gonna have to do a whole lot of that because you're gonna have the shots available. So if that's a con, then I guess. But other than that, no, it's food, bro.
Roy, you are muted. Still muted.
Still muted.
Wait.
There we go.
Wait, can you hear me now?
Back. Yeah.
Yes.
It was like the Hawks defense, the Hornets defense for a second.
I was just saying, is sending Greg Sylvander to a playoff game a con? Because that's what the fuck's going to happen if we play the Harden.
And the saddest part, the funniest part is Greg will only be at 2 playoff games because Charlotte is not going back to Charlotte the minute that they leave that city. I'm telling you that much.
Actually, he'll see the Heat win a series in Charlotte because the first 2 will be in Miami, and then Miami will beat their ass in Charlotte both times.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, he can throw some parade himself. There you go. Some confetti. I like that. So yeah, like I'm feeling pretty confident in any one of these 3 matchups. Royal becoming the Ethan of the group slowly.
Not a fucking chance. I'm not balling.
That is some harsh. Royal, let me. Are you? Let's see if it's real. Are you gonna be on 5 on the floor later?
Yes, I am.
Ryu, he's onto something.
Hey, I'm on there to cuss and get them canceled. That's what my job is on my
As usual. So the last thing that I want to talk about with the Heat here before we get into the rest of the league is Oladipo. I mean, we all saw what he did against the Magic, against the Lakeland Magic, but it doesn't matter. We saw what he did. Looked 40, 10, and 7 is something that no Heat player has done this season. I don't care who the competition was against. That is impressive. But at the same time, there's been a ton of overreactions. So I want to know where you guys stand on this. Is Oladipo forcing Spo's hand? Like, okay, I'm playing so well I've played so well in 2 games that you have to put me into the rotation? Or is this okay, Vic is there as an emergency option, and if we need him, we'll use him. But if not, we're going to stick with what we've had before because that's just what's been working over the last few games. Oh, no, man, that's a great comment. That's a great comment.
Who are you asking that question?
I'll start with you, Ro.
So, if Spo is forced to do anything before the Eastern Conference Finals, this season is a failure. This should be the easiest walk to the finals that he's ever. He shouldn't have to make a single goddamn adjustment. So let alone Oladipo having to play. Like later on down the line, if you can't generate anything in the Eastern Conference Finals, then okay, sure, look down there, see what he can give you. But I don't think like his performance, good for him. Like I'm glad. Like, but I'm pretty sure he'll get some run in these first 2 rounds while we're beating either the Hornets, Hawks, or Cavs by 40 points. Then Spoil throw him in there, let him get some burn. But there should be nothing in Spoil's head to say that I'm going to use him based off of one game, really, like as a key call to what we're trying to do holistically.
Okay, Toine?
Yeah, I probably agree with that. I think he went from not in the rotation at all to maybe if something happens, he might get thrown in. So that's the upgrade that he made, but I don't think he's anywhere close to like being in the rotation, especially the times where he did go off, the 2 games that he did go off, he had the ball in his hands a whole lot. It's going to look a whole lot different when you got Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo and, Max Strus and Kyle Lowry. The ball is going to move around a lot. So it's not going to be, hey, Vic, go do whatever you want. He's not going to be out here playing with Michael Mulder and Haywood Highsmith. Like,
whoa.
Don't you dare talk about the future like that.
No Haywood Highsmith slander. Come on now.
He is a hooper. I'm not going to disparage the man. But he's not Jimmy Butler and Bam and all those guys. So it's going to look a lot different with Vic on the court.
One of the funniest things with Haywood Highsmith is one of my friends was watching the highlights and he texts me and he's like, yo, how tall is Haywood Highsmith? I was like, I don't know. He's about 6'5". He's like Caleb Martin's height. He goes, that's interesting because some website says he's 6'8" with a 7'3" wingspan. Imagine if he was built like Bam Adebayo.
Come on, man.
That would be crazy.
Hall of Famer.
Absolutely. That man would be like supercharged Trevor Ariza, and you are not stopping him. I can tell you that much. So shout out to Haywood Highsmith, man. I enjoy watching him play basketball and just run really hard all over the court. That's all you want to see. So my last question, just tipping everything. Listen, I would too if I had a 79-inch wingspan. That shit is crazy. But no, the last question that I had with the Heat is, what is the scenario? Let's say fast forward to the Eastern Conference Finals, the Heat are there. What is the scenario in which Oladipo is the option? Because Toine, you alluded to it. He does have the ball a lot in his hands. That's when he's at his best. He can play off ball, but he's better as an on-ball guy. So Toine, I'll go to you here. What is the scenario in which Victor Oladipo needs to be inserted into the starting lineup, just so we can mentally prepare that a little bit?
Oddly enough, it would have been what last year looked like, where the Heat just couldn't do anything offensively, and we're just looking like they were lost puppies trying to get some sort of momentum on offense. I think that's the situation where you would see Vic, because at the very least, Vic can do some stuff. He's making threes at an absurd rate right now, so he could give you some juice there. And that would be probably the only situation where you would see that.
Okay. Marco, are you with us?
Barely.
Okay. So as we wait for Marco to get all set up here, Royal, what is the scenario in which Depot is involved in the playoffs?
I think if for some reason they have to sit Max Strus and go to the starting Tyler thing, then you play Victor Oladipo more, because you're gonna need a ball handler next to Gabe off the bench, and Vic's the best option that you have. So that's where I think he can go. I think he assumes that role of like trying to be the scorer off the bench if you have to start Tyler.
That is absolutely where it should be. I have to say, like, that is what I agree. I think that's the scenario in which Vic is playing. If Tyler, for some reason, ends up starting throughout the playoffs, I don't think they're going to start with that from the jump. They found something that worked with Strus and, like, all these shooters on the floor at once to maximize Jimmy and Bam. But if that doesn't work out and they need to kind of go back to some of the things they were doing before, that makes so much sense. So much sense.
So you think they would insert Vic into the rotation instead of just shortening it? Maybe going with, like, Gabe, Duncan, and insert big that's playing decently well?
I think
they would put Vic in? I don't know.
My thing with shortening the rotation is, in theory, I get it, right? Like, that's what this team always does. But at the same time, like,
that's not this team's strength.
The reason this team has been so good and the reason they're the 1 seed is because their bench has been blowing the doors off of teams for most of the season.
If one guy isn't working, they'll plug in another one or another one or another one. And so I think that's how Vic gets in there. Like if the Strus thing isn't working and Tyler has to start, you're going to need some pop off the bench. Like, that's and true. You're not going to want to rely on Duncan and Strus and Caleb for that. Like, so the one guy on the bench who is like, okay, we might have to see if he can give us some pop is Vic. And so that's a scenario where I see his best opportunity to get in there. But I don't foresee them needing to do that.
Yeah,
I just don't. Depending on who they get in the Eastern Conference Finals, because that's where the fuck they better be. But depending on who they get in the Eastern Conference Finals, like Max Strus might be fine starting throughout like this entire run.
It is true. Like
I mean, if that defense holds up, please.
His defense will not. His defense will not hold up. It will not.
If the shooting is there enough, if he's confident enough. So like we haven't seen Max Strus have to get extended run in a playoff scenario like that. So I think that's kind of what I'm excited to see because to Vanilla Wafer's point in the comment, shout out Vanilla Wafers, that's a good snack to eat, said Depot will be needed against Milwaukee. Trust me, he's the perfect body to guard Drew. I agree. I think Depot can actually do a good job on Drew or Chris Middleton, which is something that I'd be intrigued in. But the question is, can he get things going on the other end? I don't really know if he's doing that as an off-ball guard, which is possible. He could. But it is intriguing to me.
Like, but isn't that enough though in that series? Because like, really, who would we play Gabe over him? Like, we saw Gabe and how Drew just kind of like had his way with him.
So I'm not putting. That's
Gabe what I'm saying. So if in the Milwaukee series, to his point, like even if it's only for defensive purposes, I think Victor Oladipo offers you something in that series where it's like, hey, bro, you don't necessarily have to do anything on offense. Your job is to go in here and not get cooked by Drew Holiday. Or not get cooked by Chris Middleton. And I think he's more than capable of doing that or holding that role down for like 10, 15 minutes a game.
Okay. Listen, I'm with it. I would love to see it. I think he definitely brings you some value. In terms of the two teams that you'll probably see in the Eastern Conference Finals, which would be Boston or Milwaukee, maybe Brooklyn. I think Brooklyn is one of the teams you probably wouldn't need him against, but you probably could use him. I think he'd be valuable against Boston and Milwaukee in specific because Boston with their switching, you need that quickness, that burst, that agility, that ability to get downhill. And then against Milwaukee, you're going to need the defense. So there is a scenario for him to play. But Royal, I agree with you. I think it is the one where Hero is starting and you let Vic just cook off the bench and see what he's cooking on that day. But I do want to get to the play-in. We'll recap a little bit. So Cavs, Nets. The Nets won that game. Kyrie was just absolutely ballistic. I think he started 12 of 12, was it? Something like that. The most ethical 30 and 10 I think I've ever seen in my entire life. And then it kind of went downhill from there, started chucking up shots, and got the Cavs back into the game. There was a lot of times the Cavs were down 20, I think at 3 separate points throughout this game.
Yep.
And they battled back, cut it a little bit, got it to, I believe, within 4 by the end of it. So it was a pretty good game. Fun game to watch. Toine, I'll go to you here. Did we learn anything about the Cavs or the Nets in this game?
No, not really. We've been telling y'all all year that Brooklyn is Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving and a whole lot of other garbage. Granted, Bruce Brown played out of his mind, especially in that fourth quarter. He was all over the place.
He got good minutes.
Yes, like, bruh, he almost had a triple. Like, it's Bruce Brown. What are we talking about? But if he I don't think he's going to play out of his mind the entire playoffs or anything like that. But if he can be good, he's serviceable. He's one of the better role players in the NBA. But at the end of the day, it's Kyrie and it's Kevin Durant, and they are enough to give you a headache, and they're enough to win games and give you a very big problem in the series. So that's nothing new. We didn't learn. Also, the Cavs, they're feisty, they're fun, they do things, but it's a whole lot of Darius Garland. He is going to be a superstar. I believe it wholeheartedly. That dude is going to be so very good in this NBA. Like, oh my goodness. But he needs help, and that's what we saw. He needs more help. They need some experience, but we didn't learn anything new. What we thought was going to happen happened.
Okay, I'm with that. Listen, I'm with the Darius Garland love. I love Darius Garland. He was really great in like his first 3 games at Vanderbilt before he got hurt. And he's been a stud, man. He's been a stud. Royal. So the one thing that I think I kind of thought during the game was Brooklyn doesn't seem like a team that's gonna make a deep run into the playoffs. I think they're going to maybe beat Boston, but I don't see them beating Milwaukee just because they need their two guys to do so much. So unless you get the Michael Jordan version of Ben Simmons walking through that door, which is allegedly what is being reported right now, and hitting free throws, I don't see that happening. That team is good. They have some crazy superstar power, but Seth Curry does not look healthy. They don't really have anyone who's getting downhill. They rely on a lot of inexperienced and just overall not that versatile role players. Do you see Brooklyn making a deep run?
Deep? No. But second round, sure. And to your point about them playing, to your point about them playing Milwaukee, like Kevin Durant almost beat them by himself last year. That's what Toine told me before the show. I believe it wholeheartedly because I saw it with my own two eyes. Now he has Kyrie Irving. I don't give a damn if it's only them two. Those are two of the best players in the NBA, and in any series they have a chance. And that's just how it's going to be. Like I think those offensive lows that the Celtics go through, they're going to be crippling against Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, which is why I think they're going to lose that series. Milwaukee doesn't have that problem, but they have a very significant problem in not being able to do anything with Kevin Durant. Like they can't do anything with him. So that series is going to be tough for them. But no, I don't see them making a deep run. I think they get beat inevitably in that Milwaukee series, but like it's going to be tough. Like it's going to be tough. They had the potential to be one of the teams that we play in the Eastern Conference Finals, but I mean, if they play us, then that's a completely different story. Heat 5. But against the rest of these teams, they're going to be hell.
I think it would be a really fun series. I think that's where we're heading to. I think they do beat Boston. If Boston had Robert Williams, I think it makes a huge difference, both on offense and defense. He's one of the most underrated players in the league. I always try to preach that because Robert Williams is really good, and he does more than just be arguably their best defender. I know him and Marcus Smart are both elite at what they do. But yeah, no, that's going to be an interesting side of the bracket that the Heat thankfully have nothing to worry about with. So we'll let them just fight it out. Wolves Clippers. This was a super fun game. Like from the jump, the Timberwolves crowd was great. The Timberwolves came out a little aggressive. Anthony Edwards was hooping, and then the Clippers made a run, and then the Timberwolves made a run, and then Cat played like shit, and then Beverly started barking, and Marcus Morris almost got ejected. It was a fun game with some crazy shot making and all that good stuff. What did we learn about either one of these teams? Royal, we'll start with you.
Anthony Edwards is a fucking problem. That was my biggest takeaway from that game. He is not afraid. He does not care. He wants the ball, and he gonna do something with it. He is a problem, and people in the league need to be like very wary about what they're thinking about with this Wolves team because they have been fooled over the years. But with that young man on that team, it's not as sweet as it once was. You know what I mean? They played some good ball last night, and I think Patrick Beverly is a nice addition to what they try and do. Like they needed somebody like him. You know what I mean? Like a little irritant, like a little edgy. Like they need him. I mean, but yeah, I thought it was funny that he cried like he won a championship last night. But like it was just, I mean, overall, my biggest takeaway was that Anthony Edwards is in that same, like, I don't know. I think he might be in that class above what you talk about with Garland. I think that is a perennial all-star and probably a future league MVP that we're looking at right now.
I feel pretty confident saying Anthony Edwards will be a top 3 shooting guard at some point, and I think he's going to be an all-NBA player more than one time throughout his career. He's got a lot of potential. Like, you watch that man play. The physical gifts are obviously very alarming. Like, you watch him and you can tell he's the most athletic player on the floor, but the mentality, too, he's not scared. Like, down the stretch of that game, he drove baseline. He tried to kill not one, but 2 Clippers at the rim. And I think he just missed the dunk because he jumped so damn high. I swear he got 12 feet up. Anthony Edwards is crazy, crazy, crazy. So, Toine, I want to toss to you here. Looking at their next series, because I know you and I have both been outspoken about how much we love the Grizzlies. We love their swagger. They talk shit. They don't care. Well, Wolves are kind of similar in that aspect. They look a little rattled early on in that game, but once they got rolling, and that home crowd was rolling with them. I think this is going to be one of the best series from the 2-7 perspective. It might not be in terms of results, but the games themselves are going to be a roller coaster, in my opinion. Toine, how do you see this series playing out?
Well, I really like the Grizzlies, and obviously, I really like the Wolves. I think they are coming. There's a question that you have later, and I cannot wait to answer.
Might just get to it right after this because
I love we should, because, bruh, It's crazy that the Wolves' adult in the room is D'Angelo Russell, given his track record. But it's crazy. Like, they have him who can step up in moments and deliver and hit big shots. And Anthony Edwards, he's still so raw. Like, you can tell, like, he still has room to get way better than he already is. And he's already, like, ridiculous. And then Karl Anthony Towns, like, they sent late doubles, and they had their Nicholas Batum and their smalls playing on him and having the big help. And that was giving him like hell. He was frustrated as I don't know what.
He had no idea what to do.
Exactly.
No response.
Fouling on the other end, trying to force shots, running through people. I mean, it was bad, but I think he's a lot better than what he showed in that game. I think with the doubles coming, he'll figure that out. He'll figure out if he's a good passer, he can figure it out. But with that, and then going up against this Grizzly team who's been playing out of their mind with Ja, without Ja, doesn't matter. I mean, Ja's looking like an MVP candidate. All of the stuff with Jaren Jackson Jr., DPOY. This series is going to be insane. But I think the Memphis Grizzlies pull it out in 6. I think they're going to beat the Wolves in 6. I think it's going to be probably one of the most fun series we see in the entire playoffs. I think the East is going to be a bloodbath. But in terms of just fun, entertaining basketball, Memphis Grizzlies versus the Minnesota Timberwolves is going to be amazing.
Mm-hmm. One side of the East is going to be a bloodbath. The other side about to be a breeze.
The other side, one side is getting a bloodbath. The other one is going to be a bubble bath. I can tell you that much. Because the Heat are going to be making routine trips back to the Bahamas every single Thursday. That's how it's going to go with the way it shook out. But, yeah, no, Toine, I love what you said there in terms of it being the most fun. Because if I told you before the season, Memphis, Minnesota, round 1 series, I know damn well everyone would be saying NBA TV. Yep. And this series is going to be plastered all over primetime because it's going to be so fun. Jay Smith is saying those announcers are going to lose their voices in that series. It's true. Like, it's going to be really, really fun. Ja, Anthony Edwards, you got Jaren Jackson Jr. and Cat. Like, both sides of the spectrum for everything. You have so much fun. 2 good coaches. I'll give Taylor Jenkins the nod there because he's a damn good coach. Like, that man adjusts his scheme to whoever is playing, and it's really fun to watch. I think the Grizzlies win it as well, but it's going to be so fun. It's going to be one of those games or one of those series where I don't care if it ends in 5, 6, 7. The games are going to be super fun to watch, and I'm going to watch every single one of them. Even if the Grizzlies or the Timberwolves are down 3-0, I'm still going to watch Game 4 glued to my TV because I know someone's going to be talking mad shit, and neither one of these teams is going down without a fight. Royal, what's your prediction on the series?
Grizzlies in 6. But I'm with y'all. Like, it's going to be a lot of young basketball going on out there, for good and for bad. There are going to be a lot of mistakes made between these 2 teams in the playoffs with these young players. There's also going to be a lot of ruthless shit going on. Ja Morant and Ant-Man try to kill people underneath that rim, and I'm going to love every bouncing basket of it. Shout out to my man Jax. But yes, I'm going to watch this series like you every game, glued in. But yeah, inevitably, I think the Grizzlies are just a little bit further along in their development than Minnesota is right now, and they're just a little bit better. So I think they're going to be able to pull out that series in 6 games.
Okay, so we're all kind of in agreement here. Grizzlies in 6. I think the Grizzlies that home court is probably going to do them some good. They're probably going to be up 3-1 or 3-2, and then it goes from there. Last question on this series. Toine, who has a better chance of getting ejected? Is it Pat Bev or is it Dylan Brooks?
It might be Dylan Brooks because of Pat Bev, to be honest with you.
That's a good point.
I'm gonna go with that. I'm gonna go with Dylan Brooks because of Pat Bev.
Okay, Royal.
I'm going with Pat Bev, bro, because of the whole thing. Dylan Brooks light skinned, bro, and curly hair, bro. They gonna tee Patrick Beverly ass up real quick. He from Chicago, dark skinned, talk hella shit. He getting out of there first, bro. You getting out of there first, bro.
I don't know. I think it's going to be Evil Danny Green. I think he's the one that gets booted for some reason. It's going to be some funny shit like Ant bodies him or something, and then he starts getting really physical for no reason.
Yeah, bro.
Probably like push Jared Vanderbilt in the back or something going up for a rebound and get ejected from there. That just seems like something that's very on brand. And then that's the turning point for the Grizzlies, and they win the series, obviously, because that's just how they roll. So we kind of touched on Celtics Nets a little bit. I will kind of skip over that because I want to get to this next question. So we see the Grizzlies this year. They made that jump from being a play-in team, a team that everyone's like, oh, they're nice. They could win like 40-some games and then maybe win a game in the first round of the playoffs against a top seed. And now this year, they are the second best team in the NBA by record. They're playing lights out every single night, regardless of who's on the floor. They're ridiculously well coached. They have that superstar that's kind of taking that next leap. So, Toine, I think I know where you want to go here. So we'll go to Royal first. Royal, which team do you think has the best chance at going from not worst to first, but from play-in contender to championship contender next season?
Brooklyn.
Okay, but like we know the situation with Brooklyn. Okay. So well, give me someone else. Give me someone else.
Cleveland.
Ooh.
Cleveland. I like what they're building there. That three big thing is kind of fucking people up a little bit, but I think it works so well because of Evan Mobley's skill set. Like you said, like he's Bashi, bro. Like he is the key to making that work. In another year of that growth, plus Garland's growth, plus them realizing some of the tweaks that they need to make in that roster. Like they need to find a way to get rid of Lauri Markkanen. I don't think they're going to be able to, but they need to. Get love.
He's kind of what makes a three big lineup work, though. So are you
because he can shoot? Because I'm expecting Mobley to take his game out to the 3-point line next year.
Okay, like, that's fair.
They're gonna develop that shit quick as fuck because they see an all-star and they could be right. So it's like you develop that chemistry between he and Garland, and they retool a little bit. Like remember, they were 6 seed for a good portion of this season, so they were already in the goddamn playoff conversation before they slipped when Jared Allen got hurt. So. You retool that a little bit, just kind of clean up a little bit. Another year, Karis LeVert getting this shit together. You might have a team that's going to be giving a lot of people hell next year.
Okay. Listen, I'm with it. I think Mobley, I don't know how big his leap is going to be next season, but I think there will be one. And he's going to be much closer to the all-star conversation than he was this year, which says a lot because he's, 20 years old? That's frightening. Yeah. That's frightening for and he has a lot of stuff that you cannot teach. Toine, tell me why the Timberwolves are going to be next year's Grizzlies.
I'm glad you asked. They are like so like it feels like they're early with where they're supposed to be at in terms of this is not only like a playoff. This is a playoff team now, obviously, but this is like no, they're legit. They can give people some problems. Like they have talent, and then talent mixed with good coaching, mixed with development from your key players, like that matters. Obviously, D'Angelo Russell continuing to be who he is, continuing to be good. Karl Anthony Towns, you have the superstar right there, the guy you can build around. And I think a third year like leap from Anthony Edwards and getting better and just being incredible and taking the reins of this team, letting the team like come to his identity and being to what like the team based around him, and kind of Karl Anthony Towns being like 1A and 1B with Anthony Edwards. I think like that really matters. And then you get those two guys cooking, and they're like a wing, a good wing away, like a stopper away from like being like, okay, here we are now. I don't know if they'll make the Memphis Grizzlies number 2 seed leap, but I think they're legit. I think they're going to be like a top 5 seed next year. I fully believe it. I think if they make the right moves, make some right adjustments, Pat Bev is good for them. Jaden McDaniels is good. Like Josh Okogie's good. Jalen Noel or whatever isn't that his name? Jalen Noel. That dude can hoop. He can get to the rim.
They can
very
all
easily
hoop.
Like, are they really a year early though? Like, are they really early in that timeline? Like, you got Cat been in the league for a while. D'Angelo been there. This is in
terms of this construction with the team. This is Anthony Edwards' second year, and like they're already playoff looking like a legitimate problem in the playoffs. I think it's early for that. I don't think they expected to be at this point. So I think it's a little early.
I think it's fair. Like, you look at how good the Western Conference was supposed to be, too. Like, no one was picking them over the Lakers this year. No one was picking them over the Trailblazers this year. Probably not even the Pelicans this year. So, like, I guess I get it. Listen, I like the Timberwolves a lot. They're only 3 games out of the 5 seed this season. Like, that's how good they've been. They're at 45 wins, 46 wins this season. So, yeah, like, they're a really, really good team. You did say something in there that I think is kind of interesting. I don't know if I'm pushing back on it more so than want to hear your rationale. You have Cat as a superstar on that team, long term.
Yes.
Do you believe in Cat being that superstar as opposed to Anthony Edwards?
I think it's more so like 1A, 1B. I think they can get to like the same level. I think Cat is he's the glitch, if that makes sense. He's the Bam of this situation. He's the guy who you can't find that skill set. And I always believe if you can't find that skill set and he does it at a high level, like that's the guy you should build around. Or he should be a pinnacle part of your team building process. So I definitely think he's the superstar in that situation.
Fuck Karl Anthony Towns. Shout out to Manny.
I think the biggest difference between Cat and Anthony Edwards, maybe long term he'll be more skilled, but I think it's all in here. I think Anthony Edwards has that like alpha mindset, the mentality like, okay, you need a bucket, you need someone to win you a game, carry you in a play-in situation to get you into the playoffs. Give me the ball.
Give me the fucking ball.
That's that, yes. And like you need that.
You too, Karl Anthony Towns. You too, Karl Anthony Towns. Get me the ball.
And it works. It worked. We saw it last night. Like D'Lo did it. D'Lo kept them alive, and then Anthony Edwards at the end of the game, he said, "You know what? Give me that. Let me drive the boat." And it worked. It worked. So credit to Anthony Edwards, man. I think that team is going to be really good next season. But I actually think one team that might end up leapfrogging them because I think they have a better coach. I think they have a better chance at a superstar. And that's a guy coming back from injury. I think it's actually the Pelicans. I really like what the Pelicans are doing. I think they have a lot of really, really good role players. You have Brandon Ingram, who, in my opinion, is the new age Chris Middleton, which is a very valuable piece to have. You have Zion, who is could maybe end up being compared to a new age Charles Barkley somewhere down the line. He's not there yet, and we're going to need to see him play some defense. But I really like what Willie Green has done as a coach. I think taking them to the play-in. You'll see them play tonight. I think they're going to win against the Spurs. I think they have a lot of good things going there. Herb Jones is probably going to be in the DPOY conversation within the next 2 seasons because he's a ridiculous defender. And if you hit on 1 or 2 more draft picks, you hit on 1 or 2 more signings, that team is looking really, really good. I think they have the top end part of their team kind of assembled, and they're just looking at filling in the margins and being healthy, which is a huge question mark. But if they are healthy, I could see the Pelicans making that jump into being like a top 5 to 6 team in the West. But it is really, really hard to make that kind of jump because the West is so damn good too. Once you get into the top 10, but
how do you feel about point guard McCollum?
I'm with it. I think he's had the skill set for a little while. Like you can do point guard by committee with them because Brandon Ingram has the playmaking chops. When Zion's healthy, he has some playmaking chops. And CJ, like we know, he's a menace in the pick and roll. He's great in the pick and roll. He's not the greatest facilitator, but you don't all the way need that if you have so many other players who are capable of getting their own bucket. And then you have that centralized guy in Valanciunas where he can pick and pop. He can just take the ball down low and post up efficiently. So they have a good mix there. Like I like slandering David Griffin because he's made some questionable decisions, like the Zion trade, or not the Zion, the Lonzo trade. But I like what they've done. So I do want to ask.
I like
Jackson Hayes.
Yeah, I like him.
He's all athlete.
It's
That's it.
He's first team all potential. First team all potential. But I don't.
I was in love with
Yep.
But,
he flies.
If they can get Zion Williams and lay off the etouffee, then they might be on. He might be on the Gad, but that motherfucker, them crawfish po' boys killing him right now.
Don't sleep. Listen, we're getting the organic, non-GMO options on his plate this offseason, and we're drinking our greens. We're gonna be good. Don't worry, Zion's gonna be back. I believe in the kid. But I do want to get to a quick segment here before we get to our 10 questions. Royal, I know you have a time constraint. Are we still good for time?
No, we're fine. Like I haven't gotten a link from them motherfuckers yet, and they'll wait.
Okay, so there we go. So we are sponsored by Prize Picks now. So if you guys don't know, you can hop onto Prize Picks, make some bets on some lines tonight. So the promo code for Prize Picks is going to be FIVE, F-I-V-E. It's that simple. You put in $100, they match $100 back. You can do anything up to $100. I did it today. I have my $200 sitting in my account. I actually put in a $20 play for tonight, so we will get to that. But I do want to get your opinions, guys, on these over-unders for tonight's games. That's Hawks, Hornets, and Pelicans, Spurs. So Trae Young, over, under 30.5 points. Toine.
I don't know. The Hornets have given him trouble for random reasons. I'm going to take the under. I don't think he gets to 30.
Okay. I have that as well. Royal, over under Trae, 30.5.
Under.
Easy. Yeah. Toine, Clint Capella, over under 13.5.
That's actually pretty solid. That's like right on the line. I'm going to go over. He's an offensive rebounding machine.
Yup. Anytime I can bet against Mason Plumlee, I will do so with confidence. I can tell you that much. If they're going to be double teaming Trey, if Trey goes under, Clint has to go over. It's that simple for me. So I took actually those two lines. They're doing a promo. They have Joel Embiid getting over half a point on Saturday. So $20 to win $100 on Trey under and Clint Capella over. Pretty good stuff. So hop on to Prize Picks for that. Royal over or under on Clint Capella 13.5.
Under.
Damn, that's a hater. Why? Because he's ass?
You know what? You been stripping with me too long. He fucking sucks. That's why. I would never put over on anything outside of rebounds on Clint Capella. Like points.
This is a fair point. His rebound line is probably the same as his points line, which is really funny. But anyways,
13 rebounds over.
Let's get to the night game, the nightcap. We got Brandon Ingram over under 24.5.
Over. He's going to go off.
I have over as well. I think Brandon Ingram has a good game. So his teammate, CJ McCollum, over under 25.5.
Under. CJ McCollum can't get off when another person next to him is getting off. It's not a thing. Only if it's Dame Lillard.
Are we sure about that?
If somebody else on New Orleans is going off, it's because CJ is helping by facilitating. He's a point guard. He's not going to go off at the same time as Brandon Ingram.
Big game, CJ. Oh.
CJ against the Spurs, he puts a little chef hat on and he starts to cook. I don't know. It's a little interesting. I have question marks. I have question marks next to this one because I truly don't know.
He might get like 27.
I'm going under. I think he ends with like 23. But it's really close.
If Brandon Ingram has more than 24 points, I see no way that CJ McCollum had 25.
Okay, I'm gonna screen record this, send it to HR, and we'll be posting it. We'll be posting it later. Maybe, I don't know. I'm with you, Roy. I think he goes under. And last one, I said DeJounte. It's DeJounte. I like to make it sound fun, but DeJounte Murray, 23.5 over under.
Under. I think he gets like 21.
Over. I think he's going to be their only source of offense.
I think he gets like a triple-double.
He's probably going to get one. He's probably it might be 30, 10 and 10. Like, I think I'm going over for DeJounte tonight. He's really good.
He's going to be the only offense that they have tonight.
Okay, so there's the prize pick segment. Make sure you use the promo code 5FIVE. Match up to $100. So we got the 10 questions, 1 minute per question. Royal, I don't know if you've seen the show before, but the segment we always do. So we're gonna get to these questions real quick. First question, Royal, start with you. Who is the Timberwolves' most important player?
Anthony Edwards.
Easy. Twan?
Do I have to explain these things? Like, I have to be on 5 on the floor in 2 minutes, so I thought this was like rapid fire. But yeah, Anthony Edwards is because he's their best player. Like, I just believe that already he's better than Cat. And I believe he's more willing to take the shot because Cat's a pussy. And you say what I did there? That's like a bar that nobody even caught. Cat's a pussy. But Anthony Edwards, the Ant-Man is the guy. So you know what I mean? So I fucks with him.
They're gonna put you on that Kendrick Lamar thing, that same thing. Be like, wow, did you hear what Royal said in 2022 on a stream? That's a bar. All right, so no, there is no minimum in terms of time that you want to take. So if you want to take less than a minute, by all means. So we'll get to the next question here. Tawana, I wanted to go do you with this one because I think you'll be a little bit closer on this one. Which player would you rather build around for the future? Darius Garland or Anthony Edwards?
Ooh, how dare you?
I'm gonna go Anthony Edwards. He has a lot more tools to work with. Like defensively, he can do some things. Obviously, the off-ball stuff is still in question, but he can defend bigger wings and things like that. And obviously, offensively, he can turn into a juggernaut whenever he wants to. Mm-hmm. I still think Darius Garland is going to be a superstar. Don't get me wrong, but I think Anthony Edwards. If I'm building a team, I'm going with Anthony Edwards over DG.
Okay, that's fair. Listen, I'll probably always take the guy with two-way wing potential, just because that's what's super valuable in the NBA. Royal, does Dallas have a chance to beat Utah if Luka is not 100% or is out for the entire series?
No, they do not. But if he is, then they do. They absolutely do. I think Dallas is a sleeper team in the Western Conference because I think they are really, really, really good. But if Luka ain't right, then they ain't right. So they can't do anything without him. I don't believe that that's a thing.
That's fair. Listen, I agree. I wish Dallas was healthy because there's nothing that I love more than singing the Utah Jazz slander. It is so fun to do. Hop on those 6 people on the Mormon Spaces, but it does not pan out that way sometimes. And I think Utah might get a win in this first round, and they play against I think it's Phoenix. They're the 4-5 matchup, so I think they'll get Phoenix in the second round. So they'll be going home in the second round, but first round they're chilling. Toine, who is the 4th most important player in a Raptors-Sixers series? So this is behind Embiid, Harden, and Pascal.
Oh, Tyrese Maxey, because I think Harden's not going to show up for you. So you're gonna need some juice if you're the Sixers. You're gonna need a punch if you want to beat the Raptors. And Tyrese Maxey might have to average like 27 in order for them to really have a chance. If I'm being honest, so I'm gonna go with Tyrese Maxey.
You said who's the 4th most important player in that series?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Oh, not Fred?
No, because I don't think Harden is going to be what you need him to be. So I think in order for the Sixers to have a chance, Tyrese Maxey is going to be way more important than any Raptors player not named Pascal Siakam.
That's why I asked the question, because when I was thinking about this, I was like, I'm so confident in the sum of the Raptors parts where they don't need like their third guy or their second guy to be on 10 the entire game. They just need certain moments. But for the Sixers, it feels like they need one of Tobias Harris or Tyrese Maxey to not just play good, but have a fantastic game in order to get those wins. Because, I mean, you can only count on Embiid and Harden to average, what, like 60 for the series? Maybe? Less?
That means that goddamn Embiid's going to be averaging like 35 because I don't see Harden averaging
he could.
I know he could. Like realistically, he could average like 35, but I really don't see Harden in the mid to high 20s in terms of scoring in this series. Like I'm looking at like 22, 23 points a game. Like it might be like a high assist series for Harden trying to get other guys involved and shit, but I don't see him being like a high volume scorer in this series at all.
Yeah, I will be shocked if Harden has a great series. This is like a death matchup, like a bunch of dudes with never-ending wingspans just running at him full speed. And even if he gets by one, he has 3 more coming in the other direction. Like the Raptors are hellish to play against, especially for such an ISO-based player like Harden. So I don't know. We'll see. Royal, will the Heat get a player on an All NBA team?
Not a chance. Not a chance. I don't think we're going to get anybody on any of those teams, and I think that shit is going to be an absolute travesty. It's just too many other names that do it. Like LeBron James is probably going to have a spot. His team didn't make the play-in game because he had a phenomenal season, but his name is LeBron James, and there's no way that you leave him off of an All-NBA team. When you do, I think guys like Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown are going to make the team. Like they're going to get 2 players, and I feel like in place of one of them, maybe you'll want to slide in a Heat player. But I feel like that's not what the NBA is going to do. Boston's going to get 2 players. Chicago's probably going to get 2 players. Like if they get I
don't know about that. If Chicago get I don't think Zach LaVine should make it.
I don't think Zach LaVine should make it either. But I'm just saying, like that's a player who I think that they would put in before they put in Jimmy Butler or something like that. Like I think that they would get 2 players ahead of what Miami got, and Jimmy's our best chance. And I think he missed too many games for them to give him an All NBA spot. So, like, I just think that's just no.
That's fair. Toine, which home team has the best chance of being upset in round 1? So, of the top 4 seeds in each conference.
Isn't Philly a 4 seed?
Philly is a 4 seed.
There you go. The Philadelphia 76ers.
Which team? Let me rephrase this because I think there's 2 teams in specific that I'm looking at, especially considering the injury. Which one are you more confident in losing, Philly or Dallas?
Oh boy. I mean, Luka's hurt. Well,
but he's still what if he does come back healthy? There's that chance that he comes back healthy, and I think they're a decidedly better team than the Jazz when he's healthy.
Well, he's going up against Rudy Gobert and the Utah Jazz, so that is Luka. That's like music to Luka's ears. That's going to be step back city. So I'm gonna go with the Sixers as more likely to lose.
Confirmed? Question mark.
I heard it was Matisse Thybulle that can't play because he doesn't have the second dosage. I think we would have heard about that, but maybe maybe it would be. Good question here from Yusuke Urameshi. Sorry if I mispronounced that.
Yusuke Urameshi.
There you go. Would this be the least decorated NBA championship of all time if Miami pulls it off? Yeah, probably.
But I take them all how they come.
Yeah, for sure. I don't care. That doesn't change the parade that's gonna go down from Biscayne Bay all the way up to fucking Orlando. Like
I'm
it does
be
not
hanging
matter.
off the street lights, bitch. Woo! My titties gonna be out and everything. Like what the fuck? Like let's get busy.
This is just a not decorated team. I think so because they had Kawhi. Like he was a noted superstar at that point, and like I think Nick Nurse won Coach of the Year that year. So like there was some praise given to that team. Maybe he didn't. I think it might have been Budenholzer. But I think Toronto's up there for sure. I think Miami would would still be a little bit less decorated because like no one outside of Miami cares about this team, which is the funniest thing. They just prey on their downfall.
Yeah, you really don't know who Yusuke Urameshi is, bro.
No,
He's the greatest anime character of all time.
Man, you never watched Yu Yu Hakusho?
Oh my goodness!
I just watched the 3rd episode of Moon Knight once I got off work. So
Yo, I need to get to that, and I'm usually a 3 a.m. kind of guy on like Marvel shit.
Okay, so let's keep going here. Would you rather be the more experienced team, or would you rather have home court in a play-in situation? Toine.
Home court in a play-in situation. It be feeling like the playoffs, and those crowds go crazy, and like you get some energy from that. I think that matters in a play-in situation. So I'm gonna go with the home court advantage.
I wholeheartedly agree. It feels like a Game 7, which is the craziest thing. Like they simulated a Game 7 for non-playoff basketball. It's really fun to watch. And tonight is the actual elimination games. Like last game was just okay. Let's see if we can win and then get another home game if we lose.
I like the play-in. Like I
love it. I love it.
Like I like the play-in. Like it's nice.
No, it's true, and like it's valuable playoff experience for these young teams to get because it's like okay, you get in some of these series, and yeah, maybe you don't stand a chance against a team that had 64 wins this season, like the Suns, if you're a traditional 7 or 8 seed. But if you get in, you're playing against a team that's on a similar caliber to you, and you manage to beat that team. That does a lot for a team's psyche growing up. Like I think the Wolves grew up last night winning that game. I really think they did. Like it's valuable experience. So I love the play-in, man. I'm happy that they're doing it the way that they're doing it. It's really fun. Royal, who's one player that you do not want to see win Defensive Player of the Year?
Rudy Gobert. Like I've had enough, bro. Like he's not that, bro. If he wins another one, he's gonna be cemented as one of the greatest defenders of all time. And for the last fucking 5-6 years of his career, I've seen him get played off of the floor in the playoffs like fucking clockwork. I don't want to see him win another one. What's that motherfucker from Mikal Bridges? I don't want to see him win one because they didn't talk about him all goddamn. I don't want to see nobody but Bam Adebayo winning. How about that?
There we go. That's the right answer. That's the correct answer.
That's the only one I got for you.
Yeah, listen, Bam is unbelievable. Like, it sucks that not a lot of people watch this Heat team play because it's been on national TV like 3 times. But what Bam does on the defensive end is, I mean, we talked about it last episode, I think it was, or 2 episodes ago. It's truly like unmatched. He's unbelievable.
He's the best defender in the league who can do everything, and it's like nobody knows. How do you? Nobody knows.
Care.
This.
They don't care, bro. Like he don't block shots. Bitch, did you see the?
Try getting to the rim on him. It's impossible.
He protects the rim. He protects the rim by not letting you sniff it. Like,
He's one of the best.
He's one of the best point of attack defenders in the NBA.
Think about how crazy that is. You're talking about a center who routinely guards point guards at a high level. It don't matter who point guard. Kyrie Irving, I've seen him lock up. I've seen him lock up Steph Curry. And these are elite point guards who blow by point guard. And this man gets absolutely no love on the defense. That fucking voting is fucked, bro. And I'm
Makes
sorry.
no sense.
We need to hurry up anyway, because I got to go. Cuss on fire.
Okay, so we got 2 questions left.
Okay,
Toine, will Patrick Williams at any time be an all-star in his career?
No, but he's going to be very solid. I don't think he'll ever be an all-star, but he's a very good NBA player. I don't
know what to think of him. He's like one of the best like young non-stars, but I don't fully know how high he's going to get. But like, there's a lot there that he could be a star.
He's gonna make an all defensive team for sure.
Oh, for sure. I have no doubt about that.
100%, he's gonna make.
As soon as you get rid of Vucevic, that man is going to be doing a lot of stuff on the defensive end. Last question, Royal, we'll go to you here. Absolutely. We'll ask both of you, actually. Which young player are you most confident in stepping up for their team in the playoffs?
Ja. I think he's been a monster all season long, and he's another one of those players like the Ant-Man who just he does not care. Like this is his team, this is his moment, and I believe full 100% that he's going to take advantage of it. So Ja's the player that I'm looking at to be like, all right, we're going to see his evolution take another leap in these playoffs.
Okay, so true superstar.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, got you. I see that for sure.
Like top 3 point guard in the league talk.
Okay.
Ja probably would have been my answer. But if I can go with another one, I think Tyrese Maxey is about to go crazy in these playoffs. I think he's about to go off. I still don't think that the Sixers are going to win against Toronto, but Tyrese Maxey is about to go off. I hope the league is ready because this dude's about to show up. I believe it full wholeheartedly.
Listen, I love Tyrese Maxey, but when you said Ty, I thought you were going in a Heat direction there because I am super confident with Justin Harper here. I'm super confident in Tyler Hero. Like if you talk about players, like what we expect of them, I have the least question marks for Tyler Hero's offense in the playoffs. I think he's going to be unbelievable, and I think the way that the bracket is shaking out is even better for him because you don't get against those elite switchy defenses like a Boston. Really, I mean, you could get Toronto in the second round, but you don't have to see that in the first round. So there's going to be a lot of getting confident in the first round. I think it's going to be a good playoffs, Tyler Hero. But I'm excited to see all these guys. Royal, Mr. Guest on 5 on the Floor tonight, the host of the Post Up Show. Thank you for joining us today. Very fun episode.
Pleasure.
Listen, good episode once again. I'm starting to enjoy these, man.
It's
quite fun. Shout out people in the comments, making the show better than it would have been. And that's it. We did prize picks. We're out. Watch the play and enjoy some basketball, folks. Twan, have a great night, man. Play the video.